Hey tubers, welcome back for another adventure. What you're looking at here is a Honda 200S. A buddy of mine up above Albany there bought this on Facebook, and he kind of messed around with it a little bit, and then he sold it to me. And I've had it for a while now, and I was just looking at it, trying to figure out what am I going to do with it, where am I going with it, and so forth. So I figured you guys are about sick of looking at the China stuff. So I figured I'd take you along for this exploration or discovery or whatever you would like to call it. Anyway, this would probably be the most typical three-wheeler that I could describe. By the way, YouTube, that's my wife practicing piano in the background, so please don't be thinking that I'm taking music from anywhere. Anyhow, so when you look it over, you say, wow, it's about complete, worth a fortune. How quickly could I buy it and bring it home? And once again, you guys can see from the tag, it's an 85, but the date of manufacture is 7/84. So let's start right at the beginning. Let's start with the gas tank. It's got a gas tank. Oh! Looks like something crawled in there and died. Not only did it die, but you guys can see it's coming loose. So whoever did the gas tank work on this, not so good. In addition, I tried putting some fuel in it, and the fuel doesn't leak out. But quite honestly, the gas tank weighs like a ton, and the reason why it weighs so much is, this is a plate they welded on here. The gas tank's made like out of tin, like a little thicker than a coffee can. They literally put plate on here, like like 16th inch plate. So and they got the valve, and by the way, they have enough brazing material on here to make the brass fixtures on the Titanic, I think. So there's the gas tank. One could get around the gas tank. For 200Ss, I think you can find a gas tank, so that's not too horrible a deal, but it is some effort. This one came without a recoil starter, so I added the recoil starter. But anybody notice a problem with the shifter? So the shifter needs to come off and get rebent at the minimum. It's good that it's not welded. It's good that the output shaft is not welded. Come on. That's odd. It's like it's turning, but it's not. It's almost like there's water in the cylinder or something. So if the motor doesn't turn around, that doesn't do you much good. The most disturbing part of this whole thing really has to do with the front wheel. Feels like the front suspension is still with me, but this front wheel and hub and bearing, there should be like a brake situation on here that kind of keeps the wheel centered, that and spacers. And what they did is they took the brake drum off. It must have been one of those unbolt models, I think, and or put one of these floater types in here, right? Now you could see the one a little further back. and just put some pipe spacers in there. Though the the wheel bearings don't feel very good, and if you go to put a wrench on this to take it off, you can see it's kind of mushroomed and all. Somebody worked on it. An 18 will go on there and slip. A 17 won't go on there. So you could kind of see, looks like it's got some oil on it. I sprayed it. So the front wheel needs to come off, and the whole thing needs to be sorted out. I'm not quite sure why the motor isn't turning over at this moment. I'm going to have to explore that a little bit. I did put the back plastic on it just for amusement, the trunk. So I just grabbed a seat. It might be the right seat, it might not. I mean, it's the right seat for a 200S, right? The exhaust is complete. The rear end feels tight, it's not swimmy. I'm not thinking, no. The brakes lever is seized, and as I recall, I actually tried to bang it back with a hammer, and it's really seized. So I have the feeling the reason why this thing is sitting in its current state is because after going through all of this, I declared it a parts bike. It does roll, which is a plus, right? It's always good to be able to roll your toys about, but I really hate to go there, but it just needs so much love and attention that I don't want to part it out because there's so much there. But by the same token, it needs so much. One, for getting that axle out, you can see how it goes to a threaded section here. So to get that out, one needs to clean up the end of the shaft where that 17 millimeter hopefully will go on. And hopefully it'll go on well enough that you can lean on it, break it loose, and spin it out. At that point, it's just a matter of getting up the parts or rigging something up for a front wheel, which isn't too bad. I don't know how many of you also had 200Ss. Those are very much the wrong kind of tires that you would put on a 200S or any three-wheeler without back suspension. They're too many plies. They're not soft enough. You're much better off with these kind of tires. I mean, obviously with air in them, because they take up some of the shock. Running around on those, they're big and you'll float on snow, and if you get put into a stream, the back will float. The front won't, but the back will. It's not going to be a comfortable ride at all. You'll feel like somebody's just thumping on you as you take it about. So yeah, I've been looking at this for a while, thinking to myself, what am I doing with it? And unfortunately, for now, I think it needs to get covered up. I'm not willing to put the time and effort into it to bring it the rest of the way around. One of the other reasons why I was kind of looking at it to bring it back is if I could get the plastic, the gas tank, the seat on it. It takes up a lot less space than having, the body over there, perhaps by the shed, and the plastic in the garage, the seat and the gas tank in the garage, right? Because you can't put much on top of the plastic, you'll break it. The seat, they don't stack very well either. They get damaged. The gas tank, if you have it on the valve and you rest stuff on it, you can kind of crack where the valve goes into the tank, even though it's metal. So it's just taking up a lot of space. At this point, no, it's not for sale, for those of you who asked that question next. But it's also not up for restore at the moment. Anyway, I want to thank everybody for joining me. So here's a Honda video for those of you who are sick of the China stuff. I want to thank everybody for watching and commenting and subscribing. Please remember to keep your feet down, keep your heads up, and get out and enjoy each and every day. Bye now.